UT Martin head coach Jason Simpson, 20th season with the Skyhawks program, part of 4 straight conference championships. Team won at New Hampshire in the first round of the playoffs last year. Coach, just give us your general thoughts, and then we'll get into some questions.
Okay, great. As I was just making some notes on this, Kyle. Getting picked second in the league, I was kind of laughing. All right, let me give you some stats. Okay, on paper, we lost 8 starters on offense and 7 on defense. All right, and 1 specialist. Okay, so you can say 16 starters that are off the team from last year. Your quarterback, your top rusher, your top 5 pass catchers, both tight ends. Not only you're starting 3 defensive linemen, but your top 6. All right, so I figure there's 2 ways to look at this, Kyle. One, what a great compliment to lose all that, and for other people in this league, the voters, to think that we should be picked second. Okay, what a great compliment. Or, as Josiah's been here with me 6 years now. He was kind of upset about it. He said, "Coach, we won parts of 4 conference championships in a row, and then and people don't pick us first." So, it depends on how you look at it. So, but we're excited about this 2025 season.
All right, we got a couple people queued up here. Let me go to Adam first, and then Davis, and then Jared. Adam, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. My question for you is, after winning 4 straight conference championships, do you ever have to worry about complacency with as much success as you guys have had from year to year?
No, and I tell you what, it's a good question. Obviously, it's different now. College football is different because the teams change so much from a year to year basis. But it's like you said, returning guys like like Josiah Tinley, right? He's got a bird in his saddle, right? Because he feels disrespected going into his senior year, that and got something to prove. Okay. Then you got returning players like Josh Hastings, who's with me today. Josh Hastings is a very good player. All right. Not on the preseason all conference list. Okay. And he's one of the best secondary players we've had since I've been here. Okay. So everybody finds different motivation and opportunity to prove people wrong. Okay. But because of those new faces that you have in your program, who we like very much, I'm very excited about this team. I see the things going on in the weight room and on the field, and we've got some talented players. And so these guys are hungry. A lot of them have come up levels from some where they had success, but they're on a bigger stage now. Some of them are coming down from Power 4 schools or Group of 5, wanting to be the starting guy, wanting to put up some statistics like Patrick Smith did for us last year. The running back came from Vanderbilt, who ended up having almost 1,200 yards rushing, or Kincaid Dent, who transferred here from Ole Miss, who got into an NFL camp this year, because of his performance with us for these last 2 years. So, that's kind of our motive. We find guys that are hungry, find guys that fit us with a chip on their shoulder, so complacency, no, I don't. I'm more concerned about the schedule, about how this team's going to react with adversity, those type things, than I am about complacency.
And my last question for you is, kind of to that fact that you're talking about so many different guys that are joining this team this year. They're going to have new starters. Does that make it harder for you? Is that a challenge, I guess, as far as trying to continue the expectations that you set for this program over the last couple of years, because there's so much turnover and so much change in college football from you?
Yes and no. And what I mean by that is the obvious reason. Yes, from the standpoint of, I know how Josiah is going to handle practice and school and adversity and road trips and those things. We've been together for 6 years. He knows what to expect on certain days. So, other guys don't. This is new for them. Okay. And not only how, I'm going to be, but how they're going to handle it. Okay. So, those are new things, but you know what, last year, we probably hadn't lost this many, but there were still some new faces. And the year before, there was new faces. I think we've had 4 different starting running backs the last 4 years. Okay. I guess we've had 3 different starting quarterbacks the last 4 years. So it's just who can adjust to that the quickest. Nobody's, I wouldn't think, is going to ever return. In college football, right? You got graduation and then you have transfer portal. So to be able to return, 9 starters back, I mean, that'd be just an anomaly to be able to do that.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
Hey, thank you, man.
We'll go to Davis next, then Jared, then Dan. Go ahead, Davis.
All right, Coach. Let's see here. So 3 of the first 4 games this season are against FBS opponents, and then you've got Southern Illinois, who's a really good FCS program too. Probably one of the more difficult starts that you've had at UT Martin. What's your message to these guys about the early grind that this schedule presents?
Well, great. Well, one, we're glad you're back from vacation and stuff, and looking forward to getting you back with us. All right. So, hope the Braves don't have a game the day we have a game, but we're glad you're back. All right. You're right. 100%. That schedule, we've had a lot of tough schedules over the years, but I don't know that we've ever had 5 in a row like that. And you said it right. You can break it down a couple different ways, right? Your first 2 are on the road. All right. 3 of your first 4 are against FBS opponents. You get quality team in Southeast Missouri. Here game 5 is your first conference opponent who beat us in double overtime last year. So 5 in a row like that is very different. It's very difficult, but you'll kind of know who you are, right? If you're looking on the bright side of it, you'll have an opportunity to galvanize yourself. But there will be some tough times. This team faced it last year, right? I think we were sitting there 1-3, and we're on the road at FBS opponent Kennesaw State, and that defense refused to let us lose. Wasn't going to let it happen, and the offense did enough, to come out of there with the win. So, we'll see how it unfolds. But it is those first 5 games. I think about that a lot, about the mindset and the different things where we need to be as a football team. Game 1 and game 5.
Last one for you. So year 20 in this program and all the things that you've had accomplished, championships, playoffs, the wins, getting to the second round of the playoffs. What are the things that made you in this program successful, and how could people apply those things into their life outside of football?
Good question. I tell you what, first of all, this has been done by not me. Okay. This is, and I don't just say that humbly. I say that is, 20 years, there's been so many people that have invested their time and their energy and their resources, going all the way back to Phil Dane, the first athletic director that hired me. And then look, the success we've had with Kurt McGuffin, my current athletic director. And we just really appreciate them and their hard work. I kid you a lot and good friends with you, but, guys like you that are excited about our program, that contribute, you have to have all those things in place in the community and the different things that people have done for us, to help our players be successful. But, and then to the second part of your question, I think the thing that we've done here, and I think our players have done a good job, and that's bled down from our staff, is kind of, being who you are, never trying to chase keep up with the Joneses. Okay. It's about relationships here. I think I heard somebody say this earlier in the week. It's not a transactional, it's about the relationships here. Whether it be with community, whether it be with professors, administrators, our coaches to our players, and our players to each other, and the memories. That's kind of been the secret here in Martin, Tennessee. We joke all the time. You've heard me say this. Walmart is the Martin Mall. We joke about it, but we don't let anybody else joke about it, and that creates a certain mindset of putting the work in. We take a lot of pride if we tip our hat to you if you can come in here in Martin and beat us. That doesn't always work out, but that's our mindset, and I think these guys take it. I had a great conversation the other day with Austin Pickett. I don't know if you remember him, was the defensive line for us. A really good player with us for 6 years, and he's back home now in Florida, and he's running with his dad in a small trucking company, and he called me. He's at a different phase of his life now. The football's gone, so he's in the real world and adult, working on his career and where he's going to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, and and it just was really cool, the relationship that he and I were able to develop, what the program meant to him, all the memories that he collected, and he was like, Simp, I'm running my program or running my company like, I saw you and your staff. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, he said, I just saw a lot of things. I saw how how you handle players, how you get people to do things that's in their best interest, but maybe things that they don't want to do, how you motivate and try to hold them accountable. And, you say hard things, but maybe you don't say them in a hard way all the time sometimes, but you do have to confront them and bring it to light to help them, on that journey, on that path of success. So, we don't have any secret formula. We just kind of be who we are. And, but it's important to us. Success is in our best efforts are important to us on a daily basis.
Appreciate it, Coach. See you soon.
Thank you, bud.
We'll go to Jared next. Go ahead, Jared.
Hey, Coach. Jared Davidson with the Martin Post. With an almost entire new team, what position groups have kind of stood out to you throughout camp in this offseason so far?
Well, I tell you what, and you're right with that statement, but I'm gonna soften it up for you because there's two position groups that we have a lot of returning guys with experience. And if you told me to pick a group on both sides of the ball where you need to have experience with talent, it's the offensive line and the defensive secondary. And those are two positions that I don't know if we've ever been. One, I'll start on defense. I don't know that we've ever returned 4 starters in the secondary. And I think we have the 2 best safeties in the league. All right. Obviously, I'm biased, but Jacob Stevens and Josh Hastings, I think they're 2 outstanding players and good leaders on our football team. And both our corners, Michael McGoy, J Mike, as we call him, right? It's the preseason defensive player of the year with the statistics in the year that he had last year. And then Lamarion Pierce, LP, as we call him, is returning at the other corner. And there's competition going on at that corner spot. There's some other guys. Chris Rhodes is a good player as well. So if you're good in the secondary, right, you can do some different things up front. Yes, we lost 6 defensive linemen, 1 to graduation, 5 to the portal. Okay, and they all went Power 4 or a group of 5. So very good players. But so maybe we're not as big up front. Okay, but we brought in here 5 new guys, but there's some guys that are returning for us that you don't know their names yet. The people in the conference don't know their names yet, but and they're good players. Toby Camp's been here 5 years with us. Jabari Dawkins, Slink, as we call him. He's very athletic. We're looking forward to him. Tommy's been here for a couple of years. LeBron Edmonds, a redshirt freshman that looks the part. He looks like those other guys we had last year. So, experience in the secondary, new guys in the box. Okay, but that linebacker spot, the 3. We played with 2 backers last year, but we had 3 guys make all conference. All right. So statistically, that's how good they were. But with Todd Brodaback, Corey Oman, bringing him into our program, Shamari Ware back, Pooney, transfer from West Georgia, and Diz, who's been here a couple of years. We've still got some good players. All right. And then offensive line, as I spoke about, Josiah back as an all-conference player, can play center or guard for us, but I think there's 9 of our top 10 are returning players who were with us last year, and some of them multiple years they've been here with us. So I don't know if I've ever had that. Okay, none of them went in the portal. We added 1 or 2. Eric, a junior college player. Okay, but to have that experience, to have those guys with Kevin Bannon, our offensive line coach, here, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of familiarity with that group. A lot of teaching has been done, so that allows the new quarterback and the new receivers and the new running back an opportunity to be successful because of the secondary and because of the returning players on our offensive line.
And Coach, one more question here. Just I got to talk with you a few times, in the spring during baseball season and a few times this summer when you're watching 7-on-7s. How in the world do you balance a insane family life where you're all over the place and also just with the coaching responsibilities you do have?
You know what? I wouldn't trade it for anything. And it's great seeing you around and appreciate what you guys do for high school sports around here. But that's part of the reason I've stayed here for 20 years at UT Martin. I wanted to be a dad, and still be able to coach and call ball plays. And Martin's allowed me an opportunity to do this, so, during the day I get to be around, young men and help them chase their dreams and call ball plays. And then in the afternoons or nights, whenever, been able to coach Ty in Little League and stuff when he was growing up. And then, Emma, my daughter, will be a sophomore here at UT Martin, and then my youngest son Graham's at obviously at Westview, going to his sophomore year. But I think proximity allows us to get to some of these events. Having a great wife, Julie, it's just what we do. We team up and you find a way to get it done, right? Things that are important to you find a way. And as parents and being a part of our kids' lives and their journey, and we'll worry about keeps you young, maybe. Okay. Sometimes I don't always feel young, but never a dull moment for sure.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
We're gonna go to Dan from Prairie State Pigskin. Go ahead, Dan.
Good to see you again, Coach.
Hey, man.
I just have one question, and all kidding aside, between you and Tuke, you guys I know have a mutual respect for one another, but your rivalry has developed into maybe the best rivalry in the league. What does that mean to you personally, and to the conference as a whole? If you can step outside, where you're at.
Well, you know what? Actually, I just finished a letter, and I'd sent it to the Big 12 and the Pac-12, and I, it just felt like with the amount of money that Tuke's raising at SEMO for NIL, that they would be viable candidates to join those leagues. So he does a tremendous job. I think they're up to about $1 million now in their NIL. So impressive. But I have a lot of individual success or respect for Tuke. I really do, guys. I was telling somebody, I think there was a stretch there. We probably were, at some point, we were like 9-1 against SEMO over about a decade. And, we're probably maybe 500 maybe against Tuke since he's been there. But what Tuke's done, he's brought, physical style of defense. They don't ever give up a whole lot of points. A couple of years ago, kind of changed their philosophy on offense and improved the quarterback position and got to where they could score some points, and then it became tough to handle. But I like him. I respect him. I talked to him a couple of days ago. Just have a lot of respect of how he goes about his business and the mindset that his team has. I tell our team all the time. I say, the biggest compliment that you can get is when you play a team and you're talking to the opposing head coach out there, and he says, it's impressive, how you got good looking guys and how your team chases the ball and stuff. I mean, that is such a huge compliment that the opposing coach can give you. And I think Tuke and I both wear a badge of honor when we know the other guys watching the tape and not just winning the game. I mean, 'cause sometimes you can be fortunate to win a game, okay, but to be able to, be a well-coached team. And but that's what I think of Tuke. I think he does an outstanding job and has really elevated that program and got him on the national scene, and makes me be a better coach, competing against him.
Thank you for your time, and look forward to seeing you this year.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Other questions for Coach Simpson? We got time for one more. If anybody has one. All right, Coach, one more. Let's talk about your schedule. Oklahoma State right off the bat, then UTEP. So, you sort of answered earlier, the two FBSs, how does that, like some years you've played one later in the year, right? How does it work to have them both at the beginning?
It's not ideal. I mean, it's not. But, I've had them at the beginning and at the end, and sometimes that can kind of drag you down, especially, if you're trying to make a playoff push and stuff like that. So it's just, how it happened. We're excited. There's some benefit of it. One, Josiah, these two young men sitting here, they deserve to get to go play in those venues. Okay. They'd rather do that than me taking them someplace they maybe never heard of, or a long bus trip. These guys will get the charter. They'll get to go, go compete, go against good competition and compete. And on top of that, we're completing a new weight room and they'll get to use it for a couple months, but those resources it's going to be left, for the future Skyhawks come here, and these guys, contributed, they're part of it. So, it is what it is. I don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about them being back to back, Kyle, but those are 2 long trips, for sure. I think we're on Thursday night to Oklahoma State, and then the next Saturday. So I guess we got a 10-day, trying to, figure out a way to get to Tallahassee to get to go see Ty play on Saturday. So that his first game. So, but that'd be good. We'll get back and practice again on Monday and get ready to go to El Paso on that Friday.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time this morning or this afternoon. Best of luck to you and your team all year long.
Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Tell Tuke